This evening at West Hamlin Elementary. We're always glad to come out and visit. I'd like to just start the meeting before we do the pledge by just introducing all of our board members. The first person I'm going to introduce is our Rose Among the Thorns, Miss Smith, and here she comes, Carol Smith. Carol Smith, one of our board members. This is Gary McAllister. He's one of our board members. This is Patricia Lucas, our superintendent of schools. Fred Curry, he's the vice president of the board. And Larry Wilkerson is a board member. And my name is Steve Priestley. Once again, we're glad to be here, and we always look forward to coming to West Hamlin, going out and visit all of our schools. It gives us the opportunity to talk with you all, and we're looking forward to hearing some presentations tonight also. But I'd like to begin our meeting by doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Find the flag. Okay. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion on the approval of the minutes of the September 17th, 2013 regular meeting, please?
So moved.
Mr. Wilkerson, Mr. McAllister, is that an all yes vote?
Yes.
Okay, all yes on that. Okay. Under public comments, we have had one person who has signed in here, and that's Kelly Miller. Miller? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Would you mind coming over here so we can see you? Well, I'm afraid I'll get a stiff neck if I look there.
Just sit down.
You can do it there. I don't know whether they have to add or just set your things there. Whatever you feel comfortable doing is fine. Yeah, that's good. Just whatever is comfortable for you.
Some of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Kelly Miller, and my family and I live in Sweetland, West Virginia. I'm here on behalf of my youngest daughter, Allison. She is in 7th grade in Hamlin Pre-K 8. And I would like, first of all, to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'm going to make this as short as possible, and it's a long, drawn-out story, and I'm more than willing to answer any questions that you have. Allison basically is in 7th grade, like I said. You all will be hiring a new aide for her position this evening. This will be her 8th permanent aide since she started kindergarten. Not counting all the substitutes that she's had through the years. I know when you look at Allison's IEP and the services that she receives through Lincoln County School, when you look at that IEP and look at least restricted environment and policy 2419 and all those things combined, yes, she is getting, you are providing to her what the state and federal mandates say she's to be provided for. My only issue with all of that is that it also says, and to me, as an advocate and as a mother, the most important thing in that law and in that sentence that everyone seems to forget about says that those needs, all those things are supposed to be based on Allison's individual and unique needs. When Allison is torn from one person to another, back and forth, upheaved, and never know who she's going to have, that, if anybody wanted to know Allison, that is detrimental to her. You don't understand what that's doing to my child. I've had neurological evaluations. We've had test upon test upon test because of all the stress that it's causing on her and all the regression that she is having because of those service personnel laws and the things that she is having to go through as a person. She is a person. She is a child. She's more than a Weebus number in a computer system. She exists. This is Allison. This is my baby. She's more than a Weebus number. You don't understand what she goes through. Do you know she's going through puberty? She cannot physically toilet herself. She has to have somebody do that for her. Do you know how detrimental that is to my child to let a stranger come in the back room and do that to her? Do you understand that? Right now, she is placed with a substitute aide that has been with her on and off for 3 years through all this turmoil that she's going through. They have developed a bond like I can't even describe to you. She loves her. Allison is thriving. She had straight A's on her progress report. You don't understand, as a parent that has been looked at by doctor after doctor and told, your child will never do this. Your child will never be able to do anything. Your child will not be able to read, will not be able to write. And she spells better than I do. And I contribute that to April because she has been there. She knows my child. She took the time to look at this and get to know who Allison is. Not a Beavis number, not an IEP paperwork laying somewhere in a drawer. She knows Allison. And that's what this is about. This is about Allison. And all I'm doing is asking you all to please consider my child and her needs. Not a service personnel law, not a rule in a book or a policy. I get told that every day of my life. I do it for a living. I go out and advocate for children just like her, every child out there like her. And I'm so sick of policy and procedure, I could puke it up. I've traveled from Washington, D.C. to the coast of California fighting for children, and I'll continue to do it as long as I have breath in my body. All I'm asking you all to do is fight for my child. Fight for Allison. Let once Allison's needs and Allison's individual needs overrule something. Please, I'm begging you as a mother to please consider my child. She is more. She is more than a piece of paper. And that's all I have. I'm begging you to please consider my child and what you're putting her through by doing and voting the way you're voting tonight.
Well, Ms. Miller, first of all, please understand that the members of the board, we aren't familiar at all with any of these issues that you're sharing with us tonight. And I totally agree with your statement that we cannot be in your shoes. We don't know what it's like each day. We think we know some of the issues you face, but obviously we don't. And we readily admit that we don't. But at the same time, we hope that whomever may be placed in a position with her would be one that would be compassionate to her and knowledgeable, and if there are things that they need to learn more about, that they will be, those things will be available to them through the special education department, whomever. But the key thing that you stated to us there is the law. And I don't know, once again, the issue of why she's had the substitute aide for the last 3 years. I don't know anything about that. But at some point, when there's a position available, the law is quite clear, and that we must follow that law. There are various classifications of service personnel, and when these people meet those, the law is quite clear. We don't have a whole lot of flexibility in who gets these positions. But although we're sympathetic, and once again, not knowing all the issues here, we rely upon the administration that they have studied the applicants, they have seen what the law seems to dictate to us who would have to take that position. So, so we're in a kind of a bind there. For us to just arbitrarily say, no, we're not going to do that, we're going to choose another person.
I'm not asking you to do that.
Well,
I'm just asking you to consider when you say applications. I don't understand how someone who has been in a service personnel position in another field could possibly come in and have all the qualifications as someone who has been there with my child on and off for 3 years and understands and knows her disability and has had the trainings pertaining to her disability.
Nor do I, but at the same time, each classification has certain criteria, and individuals in those have to pass tests to be qualified to do that. I'm assuming and feel confident that it's happened, that they have met the minimum requirements. But going back to what I said a moment ago, at some point, no matter what position a person goes into that's new to them, they're learning. It's a learning curve for them. Now, many aren't as sensitive as the issue we have here with Allison. I agree with you. But at the same time, everyone, as they do different things, they oftentimes have to learn new things. knowing who's been recommended here, I think, I know him personally, that this is a
Well,
person.
you have a better advantage than I do because that kind of information is kept in hand.
Well, I've just been briefed just a little bit on this, but I've known them personally, know the issues that that person has faced in their life, and know the type of person that they are. But aside from that, then I feel very comfortable, once again, as in my seat, but not in yours, that that person will be the kind of individual in time that Allison will bond with. And I feel very, very strongly about that. At the same time, Mr. Brunny and his department will provide any assistance to her, any assistance that you may feel that the person serving in that capacity needs to have. He will meet with you at any time. You share with him what you think that she needs. I'm talking about the individual that's going to be working in that position. And I am sure that he will go out of his way to help do that. But, but I'm not going to disagree with you one bit that somebody going into this new, it's going to be something new for me. It's a learning curve. But ideally, I would hope that that person will be one that will look at that, will grow to know Allison, and and in time, I would hope that a year from now, that you'll be able to say that it worked out well. That there's someone that's come in here and taken this position with her, and it's worked out better than I ever thought it would. But going back to what I said earlier, much of this is just really beyond our control. And oftentimes, and that's, I know board members, some are newer than others, they think that when they are a board member that they can do things. And then when they get into some of the orientation things, they find out that they can't do nearly as many things as they'd like to do. But at the same time, it's just what we will do is work with you to make sure that you feel, as time goes on, that her needs are being met. And if they aren't, that you bring that to the attention of Mr. Brunny. If you aren't satisfied there, you bring those attention to the superintendent. And if you aren't satisfied there, then you come back and share with us issues, and we would do that privately, as to why you think that's not true. But, I think although Allison is the #1 priority here, don't ever think that that's not ours.
She's my #1.
Well, she's ours too in this issue. But at the same time, I think we have to give the person that's going to do this the opportunity and the chance to show that they too can do this. I think it would be a disservice if we just said, no, you can't do it, because we don't know all the people in our county and the things they do. But I think as time goes on and you get to know this person, that I'm very, very hopeful that you're going to feel like I do, that this is the kind of person that you would like Allison to work with. And that's nothing at all against the person. Is it April that you said you worked with her before? Mm-hmm. I don't really know, her issue or things that she's done, and I'm sure she's done a tremendous job. But that being said, that doesn't mean that somebody else can, in time, do a good job too. And I realize that that's, I wish I could say something different.
Nothing I haven't heard before.
Yeah, well, and I understand that, and I don't like to be bureaucratic about the whole thing. But at the same time, we have obligations, and we're sworn to abide by the law. And if that's what it says, then that's what we have to do. And should it not turn out well and there be issues, then we deal with those. And if a person in any position isn't doing that satisfactory, then we will deal with that. But I think, once again, we owe it to the individual taking that position to give them the opportunity and to train them and provide for them whatever that you feel they need to do a better job. But I think we need to give her a chance.
At Allison's expense.
Well, not necessarily. Once again, I wouldn't, I know it'll be a transition for Allison. It would be, obviously, for any child, and in a child of her situation, I'm sure it's more traumatic for her to have someone new. But at the same time, over a period of time, I'm still very, very confident that this is somebody that she can bond with and work with. And that I'm still hopeful that time will come in a few months that you will maybe think that maybe I was right with what I said. And if I'm not, hey, I've been wrong before. And you can share that with as I said, go through Superintendent, Mr. Brunny, and come back and tell me I was wrong, and hey, what we need to do then, we'll deal with it.
Well, thank you for your time.
Ms. Miller, I understand your problem as a special needs grant officer.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.